Report of the week here, back with another Minecraft Let's Play. No, you read the video title. You know what happened. You know what I did. So, I reviewed an anime. Or I guess I'm going to review an anime. It wasn't fun. That's what I want to preface this with. I did not enjoy myself. I did watch the whole thing. I watched all, however many seasons there were, and like 3 movies. It was a commitment. And it was over February break. The idea initially came to me when I first heard a song. I'm going to play that now. You've probably heard it somewhere over your life. And I initially downloaded this song to annoy Casey McGuire on the way to school in my carpool, and it worked. It was like an astounding success. It was one of the best choices I've ever made. And so it got me thinking, what could that possibly be from? Because it was because the video for it was really weird, and I wanted to know more. And also, like last year, I promised Tad that I would watch JoJo, right? I never did that. I tried to. I didn't like it. And I felt like I needed to repay him somehow and watch an anime. Tad's behind the camera. Tad, say hello. He's silent. So, this is that. It's gonna happen. And this show is called Monogatari. Sounds like it's occupied. All right, so when I initially first started watching the show, I was repulsed and disgusted. So I'm gonna play the first 10 seconds, or actually the first like 5 seconds of the show to show you why. Stop! Now, I'm not going to show you the next part, because I will tell you that that skirt continues to lift, and it doesn't stop. The wind is strong.
That's an outtake.
Oh my fucking god! So I was instantly repulsed, and I wanted to stop, so I did. This was before February break. And then over February break, I was like, well, shit, I have nothing to do. I have nothing to do. And so I was like, I went back to it. I got past the first 5 seconds, and it didn't get much better. So the show is called, as I said before...
Sorry.
Get out! The show is called Monogatari, and that translates to ghost story. And each season has a different little precursor. Excuse me, let me get my notes. Here we are. So, the seasons in order go as such. Bake Monogatari, Nisei Monogatari, Neko Monogatari, Monogatari 2nd season, Hana Monogatari, Tsuki Monogatari, Owari Monogatari, and Kizu Monogatari, which is the movie. There's actually 3. So the show starts off. We got our classic anime boy. Hair, one covers an eye, that whole system, that whole shebang, and he has a little thing on his head. I'll show a picture, and he's a vampire. Actually, let me correct that. He's 1/10 vampire. But you only figure out these important bits of the lore if you pause in between like some random part of the show where it has a frame where there's a frame and it has like a paragraph of exposition. And if you don't pause it there, you don't get to know it. And there's no other place in the story where it thinks it's important to tell you, so. So the story goes as such. Our boy goes to high school. He's past his whole vampire thing, so he's only 1/10 vampire now. And he's walking upstairs, and he's like, I'm walking up the stairs, I'm late. And this girl falls down. It's like spiral staircase, and she falls down the middle. And he's like, I'll catch her! So he catches her, and he's like, you weigh like 5 pounds! And she runs away. And later he's like, maybe I should figure out why that girl only weighed 5 pounds. Maybe it's because of something supernatural. And I know a lot about that, because I'm a van boy. And so then he's like, he goes to investigate, and then all of a sudden the girl finds out, and she's like, nah! And she gets mad. And she sticks a stapler in his mouth and staples his mouth shut. But then he takes it out, and it heals because he's a vampire. And he's like, look, I want a supernatural thing too. I understand. I understand completely. Do you need to use the restroom?
Do you need to film it here?
Yes!
Oh.
Alright, so our main girl, her name is Senjogo Hara. That's about right. So she has like no weight, that's her whole thing. And she carries like a bunch of like pencils and like other like office supplies, and she stabs people with them. It sounds lame, but it actually looked kind of scary. And then our boy takes our boy.
I'm taking it.
His name is Araragi, and he takes her to Hawaiian Shirt Man, and Hawaiian Shirt Man fixes all of their problems. I need the speaking to cease.
This is a free country. I'm Spider-Man.
She gets healed. Apparently, also each apparition is what they're called. They all cause the supernatural stuff. Each of them have a different thing that they do. So in the first one, it took away all her weight, and it somehow made her like insane and like mean. I guess if you lost all your weight, you'd probably be pretty mad too. So they fixed that. The next one is a ghost of an 11-year-old girl.
No.
Now this one,
Good.
this one's terrible because I can't tell if our.
Where are you? Okay, Mom. Oh, hey, Mom.
So our main boy meets an 11-year-old girl in a park. What's her name? Hachikuchi. And she's just like wandering around, she's lost. And it's later revealed she's actually a ghost, and she's been dead for 11 years. So I think that what the anime uses here as an excuse is this makes her 22. I disagree wholeheartedly. That, however, does not stop the main character from being gropey with her. This was another part where I stopped watching the show. And this is like only like halfway through the first season, like not even halfway. But I wanted to take a break from it. But I didn't want to I felt like if I wasn't watching anime, it would be cheating, because I kind of devoted myself to watching this. So I watched a show. This is going to be a little interlude part before I get back to the rest of the show. I watched a show called My Hero Academia. Tad shakes because he likes, and he should like. Get out!
Okay. Are you now Alec Kazuchusek?
I watched the show, and I enjoyed it wholeheartedly. I think it's a very good show, and I feel like that can be proof, at least, that anime itself is not a sin and should not be destroyed. But there are sections, such as the one I watched, that can die. And So that's just a little interlude. I enjoyed My Hero Academia. It was a good show. This is me recommending you should watch it. So they're storming the gates again.
Do you need to use the bathroom?
I can wait.
Thought detected! Thought detected!
But, yeah, I heard.
You can wait!
Ooh.
Were we live? So after I watched My Hero Academia, which like I said, I enjoyed it. I had to go back. I had to finish what I'd started. And so basically, every new episode, they have a new character. It's always a chick, and she's always cursed by some sort of monster thing. There's a devil, like a monkey's paw sort of thing, where it fuses with her arm. It creates she has a monkey's hand, and she wraps it up in bandages, and she punches, and it's evil. And then there's another one where it's a snake, and it's an invisible snake, and it wraps around your body, and it constricts you and kills you. It's a good one. That's the one that the song came from. Let me say I like two things about this show. One thing, there's some good music. They have a new intro for every episode. It's cool. It's cool to have to watch a show that has a new intro for every story arc. And the other cool thing I liked is there's some okay animation, and the fight scenes are always well done, and they're usually very bloody. Because our boy can take a lot of damage because he can just heal. Going on, so those are just some examples. So that continues for 2 seasons, and there's a bunch of different girls. Our main boy has 2 sisters who were revealed in the 2nd season. They each have their own respective problems. New girls show up. As he gets older in high school, younger girls come to the high school, so get to have some younger girls in the mix. So, to continue on, so I want to talk about the convoluted order, the presentation of the storylines. It goes the show starts here, and and in the 2nd season, it continues going on, but it keeps alluding to stuff that happened up here that we didn't get to see. And it's important stuff. When they talk about that stuff, you're why can't I be watching that stuff?
This trash can's pretty light.
So whenever I'm watching it, I want to be watching stuff that's up here, but we just keep going deeper into here. And sometimes, actually, once they went up here, it wasn't the cool stuff, but it was stuff that you heard about.
Is this a line graph?
Yes.
Okay.
Don't comment! And we finally get down to here where our boy graduates. He graduates from high school and he goes to college. When you get to the movies actually show, so this is the part where I got to and I was and the movies actually show, when I found out that there was movies, they show the stuff that happened up here. And that was probably my favorite part because it was the only worthwhile part of the show. So I'm going to give a brief description of the most important part of the plot, the movies. So our boy Koyomi, Araragi, Koyomi's his first name.
What show is this?
Monogatari, get up! He's walking home after buying porn, and he gets on the subway. I don't know what type of porn. Look, okay, they probably did show it. I probably don't remember.
I don't think you're fit to review this unless you know a lot about the plot. No. Hey! You lock the door and you don't make any sounds! Anyway, he buys some porn and he's on his way back home and he sees some blood goes down into the stubways. I saw them the stubway.
You want to try that again?
No, I don't. I never make a mistake. He goes down to the subways, he follows the blood, and he finds a woman. She is on the ground, and she has no limbs, and she's bloody. And he's like, whoa, she looks dead. And he falls over.
And then she's like, surprise, I'm not dead! And she's like, I'm a vampire. Give me your blood and save me. And he's like, no. And then she's like, please, I'm gonna die! And he says, yes. And so he goes like this, and he's like, bite me! And she bites him. And then he wakes up later, and she's a little girl for some reason now. She used to be an adult, now she's a little girl. Nothing is explained. And he's a vampire now, because he got bit by a vampire. So he goes outside, and he burns in the sun. And that's what I think, that's one of the cooler animations they did, when he goes outside and he burns to like get crisp. And then she pulls him back inside, and she's like, you're an idiot, you're a vampire, you can't, son. And so then he finds out that her limbs were stolen by vampire hunters, and he needs to go get them back. Why not? So the rest of the movies plural, they're only an hour long. Like, I don't want to make it sound like I watched like 3 movies. Like, they were basically like an episode of the show each. So it wasn't that bad. But he goes out and he finds each of the vampire hunters, some of them who we had seen in this portion of the plot. And he defeats them each. And he almost dies a lot because he's kind of crappy at being a vampire. And he gets each of them, and then he goes back and he gives all the limbs back to Miss Vampire Girl, and she eats them, and she grows back into her normal size self, which is not like an 11-year-old girl. And then he goes out to like go get some food, and he comes back and he finds her like eating a face off a human, and he's like, what? And he's unhappy, and then he realizes that if he's gonna be a vampire, he's gonna have to do that, so he gets all depressed. And so he fights Vampire Girl, and they end up cutting off each other's limbs a lot, but since they're vampires, they just grow back. It's just a long fight of people losing their limbs. And at the very end, our boy wins, but he doesn't want to kill her, so what he does is he almost kills her, and he regains like a little bit of his humanity, but that's why he's still a little bit of a vampire. And she's just kind of like a shell of a human being, meaning she gets to be an underage girl for the rest of her life, and she appears later on in this part. That's the show. I don't think I missed anything. I missed a lot, actually. I skipped over a lot because I didn't want to have to describe every single arc and plot line. But just know that this is bad. I did not enjoy it. I'm going to rephrase with my opening statement. This is bad. I did not enjoy it. I do not recommend it. And thank you, and good night.